And now to discuss the Israeli economy, we have Chen Herzog of BDO with us on set. Thanks very much for being with us.
Hello.
Well, we have rumors now circulating that the economy minister is looking at potentially temporarily resigning to let this nat gas deal go through.
Yes.
How likely is that scenario?
Well, the Israeli gas market has been on hold for over a year now, ever since the resigning antitrust commissioner Gilo decided to backtrack his original decision to allow joint sale of gas between Delek and Noble. So the government proposed a framework that was supposedly going to allow us to get out of this deadlock and develop the gas industry. This framework was passed and approved by the Israeli parliament, but the government didn't have the majority to exercise its majority and take and translate this decision into action. So Deri's resignation or a temporary resignation may prove the ability to get out of this deadlock and develop the gas industry.
Interesting. How likely do you think that is, these speculations?
Well, you have to remember that the Ministry of Economy wasn't Deri's first choice when the government was formed. So maybe he's looking to get another ticket, another office that will, in his view, be more suitable to promote his agenda of welfare economics. Although I do believe that the Ministry of Economy does have the ability to promote welfare economics, but it seems that Deri thinks otherwise.
Well, it has economics in that title there. But how important is this deal for the Israeli economy?
I think it is a tremendous deal, the gas industry. You have to remember that the Israeli public, the Israeli taxpayer, has over 65% share in the gas findings, in the gas revenues. So it is in the interest of the Israeli consumer to develop these fields. Now, there is a tension between two needs: the need to promote competition and enter new players into the market. On the one hand, that's the agenda that the antitrust commissioner was promoting, and the need to develop the industry and develop the economy. And the idea of the framework was to create such an environment that balanced between these two needs, between the need to create competition and between the need to create develop the industry. But the current situation that the market is on hold does not serve any of the parties, because we are doing nothing to promote competition, and we are doing nothing to develop our gas industry. So any solution would be better than the current situation.
Interesting. So moving on, though, with the Bank of Israel now pausing on rates, Karnit Flug, the head of the bank, choosing to pause here, very similar to the U.S. What's the cause?
Well, I think Karnit's decision not to reduce the rate is not really news. It's no news. It's no news because the market is already at 0.1% interest, very low interest rate. So another reduction doesn't really matter. You have to remember, why do we reduce interest rates? The idea, what we as economists, we call it expansionary monetary policy. But the idea is simple. You want to reduce the interest rate, you want to reduce the cost of money, the cost of capital, in order to promote investments in the markets, to promote investment and to promote growth. Now, in the last year or more, the Israeli economy has been in a paradoxical situation. Interest rate is very low, almost zero, and investment level is going down, and growth is going down, even before the current terrorist crisis. So we don't have the ability to use anymore the monetary policy to promote growth. We need to look elsewhere in terms of government policy.
What are the main reasons, though, for that softening here?
Well, if you're asking me why investments are not being made in Israel, so I think there are several reasons. One is that investments are going abroad, because investors feel that despite the low interest rate in the market, other factors like fear, regulatory environment, exchange rate, promote investments abroad. Another issue is the housing bubble. The money that is already left in the Israeli economy went to investment in the housing sector. And this had two negative impacts. One, from a welfare point of view, it increases inequality because the younger generation find it's more and more difficult to purchase their own apartment. And from the growth perspective, the money that could elsewhere be divested into growth-promoting investments goes into the housing industry. So I think these two issues of regulatory, investment abroad, and the housing bubble all together cause this problem.
Well, thank you very much for bringing it to our attention. Very much appreciate it. Chen Herzog of BDO. That wraps up our show today. Stay tuned here every day for all your business coverage. I'm Natalie Ehrlich. Thanks.